From Facebook, this is Jose Trujillo. I'm the world's greatest sitting artist. And I got started on this landscape. Painting a little bit ago, and let's see how we can get it closer to you so you can see what I'm doing here. I started just by doing a very simple sketch, sort of a little rough draft of it, and then I'm starting to move with the palette knife and applying some really generous, thick layers of color. Okay, some really generous layers right here. Look. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One of them, I love the way that color feels, that thickness, that richness. And the other reason is because it also is helping prime the painting. In other words, when I apply thick layers of color, I'm also, in a way, underpainting my painting. And it helps it reach the place that I want it to reach even faster. So here we go. I'm going to mix a little bit of purple and blue. This is dioxin purple and phthalo blue. And I'm going to start going in our clouds right here. A little bit more blue. We need a little bit more blue than that. And we're going to start going into the shadows or the shades of our clouds right here. This is not realism. Okay, some people ask me, hey, how come that doesn't look like so-and-so, or like, you know, like this or like that? It's not realism. This is expressionist painting, and it is intuitive work. Meaning, yes, I do rely partly on a reference idea, a reference photo, a reference drawing, any sort of reference. But most of the work is rooted in me just finding little areas where I could express the color the way that I see it fit. And it makes it very different than painting realism. There is a level of realism in it, representational, I guess. It's a better word for it. But for the most part, it's a bit abstract. And when you give it space, it all comes together in a very interesting way. This is the way that I love making these creations. And it's a little mixture of different things, you know. Some of it is expressionist, some of it is impressionistic, some of it is a little bit realistic, and on and on. Look at this peach color down here. Beautiful peach color. Look at that. I'm going to take it up here a little bit. And I also scratch the paintings. Just make sure that when you scratch the paintings, don't perforate them, don't make a hole in them. But I scratch it sideways so that I'm able to create little expressions, you know, little expressions. And now I'm going to go back to my brush. Okay, here we go. I'm going to take some green, some dark green and blue, and we're going to go right in here. Sideways. Using every angle of the brush to create different little things. Again, part of my work is also about just suggesting that something is happening here. The painting is not, it's not idealistic or naturalistic, much less realistic in really any way. I use elements of that, but I'm really, more than anything, I'm suggesting that something is happening. See, we're suggesting this is a landscape. Those are clouds. There's a lot of atmosphere happening in both areas, in the ground and the sky. And there's also roads and maybe what appears to be some fields. There's little things that are being suggested throughout the painting so that we keep it open and fresh, and it's not so rigid and it's like it's supposed to be this. Well, a lot of folks paint like that, and that's fine. It's beautiful too, but this is a very different style than that. This is a mixture of different things. We wanted to have some realist elements in there, but we also want to play with ideas and imagination, which is extremely important and missed a lot in art. A lot of people don't play with imagination in art anymore. We tend to especially since new trends like hyperrealism and new, I mean, they're really cool, don't get me wrong, but a lot of the imagination can get lost if we are simply trying to mimic reality or copy a photograph. And so I try to also use that part of my brain where we're not really sure what's happening, you know. Part of my inspirations are the atmospheric paintings of Turner, nautical or seascape artist. Very cool, very atmospheric, and some line work also. As you can see here, I'm doing some line work. I'm gonna take a wider brush and I'm gonna start going in here and playing with different things that could signify here clouds. No, play a little bit with the idea of what clouds are. Of course, if you go out in there and see clouds, you might not see clouds like this. They might not exist. But that's the beauty of it's the beauty of fiction, right? It's like writing fiction, telling a story. There's a sense of realism there. It's just not. It's not realism in the everyday sense. But there's a sense of it. Like, oh yeah, I've seen those clouds. Maybe in a dream, maybe in a painting, in a memory, or maybe I did see those clouds. I've seen clouds like this, very rare. You know, maybe when I was a kid, my father was a rancher, and you know, and on and on and on, and you come with all these things, memories, and all these things that are super exciting when it comes to creating artwork. Creating artwork is not just about looking at something and trying to copy it as best as possible. Of course, that's one form of creating artwork. But there's many other forms of creating artwork, and the one that I share here is how can I mix all these things, a sense of realism, memory, a dreamlike, almost fantasy world, but also bring in there some sense of expressionism, you know, different things that could be happening. Why not? Why not? It's like a good movie, you know, when they tell you based on true events. Was it really based on true events? Or, you know, well, yeah, but there's so much happening in the movie that there's no possibility that could be true, except in one's mind, and that's what makes it so rich. Even the most realistic of films that we've watched, even if they're documentaries or whatever, they're orchestrated. Everything is orchestrated so that we can delight our eyes, our ears, or our senses. I think the famous photographer said, who was it, Ansel? Even a photograph is orchestrated. There's no such thing as just finding the right place and taking a photograph. You have to somewhat orchestrate it in there. Thank you so much, Didi. How's it going, Rod? Good to see you here. How's it going, Danny? And Vonnie, thank you so much for joining me. So I'm going to try to show up as often as possible here. I'm doing it once a day, and just kind of showing you what I'm up to here. Look at this. Very simple. Very, very simple. I will be doing painting classes for those of you who are interested. I'm starting to release some of my marketing classes as well. Marketing on Instagram, marketing on various platforms, social media platforms such as Facebook, LinkedIn, and on and on. I'm even doing some TikTok nowadays, so haven't done much of that, haven't learned much yet, but I am sure that I'm going to master it, and once I master it, I'm going to be teaching what I've learned. Look at that. And why not? Maybe way back there we have a lightning. No, this can happen in our little world right here. Right. Way back there we have a little lightning. Let me let's bring some attention to it with some blue right here. There we go. Let's see what this looks like. Grab a little distance. There's also certain little nicks and knacks and things happening. Here's a little lightning right there. Maybe it's a distant wrench. Who knows? Ultimately, the viewer and the artist both finish the painting. An artist can never really finish a painting. There's so much in it that is left untold, and it's also the job of the viewer to take some of that information and tell the story. Tell the story with their own interpretation, their own eyes, their own memories. There it is, my friends. Again, my name is Jose Trujillo. I'm an artist, and if you're interested in some of my workshops, I'm releasing video workshops. Let me know, and I'll send you some links to that. Take care, and I will talk to you soon. Much love.